A few weeks ago, the owner of my local bike shop, now given my pension for fiddling around with bikes, offered me a free frame and forks for the taking. I was amazed to be confronted by a beautiful 53cm Concorde road race bike. Not only that, but it was a Squadra, in the colours of PDM, the highly successful Dutch racing team of the late 1980s and early 90s, including winning the World Championship in 1990. I took it home, put it in the work stand and inspected it at close quarters. The more I learned, the more enthused I became. The frame was constructed from Columbus TSX tubing, which features internal rifling for lateral rigidity. This, when paired with the Columbus forks, using Federo Laminati tubing, were representative of just about the pinnacle of high-tech steel frame design in the 90s. The bikes were made for Concorde by the classic Church company, spelt CIOCC. All the lugs were fabricated by Cinelli and the bottom bracket by Campagnolo. The unusual Cinelli bottom bracket housing is a casting, this to improve rigidity, and includes a deflector to divert water away from the air vents underneath. The dropouts are by Ultec, which seem to be the Church house brand. The overall finish, in particular the chrome plating, is of a high order. In fact, apart from some slight paint scuffing, it seemed almost new. Transferring the Michi-based wheels and transmission components from my existing Nishiki Fixie, together with some spare bars and a Campy Victory front brake, I tried hard but unsuccessfully to make it fit me. I carried out several test rides, and although it rode beautifully, it was clearly too small for me. How frustrating! I'd recently built up a fixed 53cm mealie looper for my daughter Kate, which, although a very good bike, it lacks the street cred of the exotic Squadra. Consequently, she required a little coaxing to try it out. So I returned the Michi stuff to where it belonged, and built up the Squadra with the Miele's Quando fixed free hub, Mavic CXP21 wheels, and a Shimano 105 crank and brakes. As you can see, it really looks great. Everything fitted perfectly and the chain line was spot on. It fit her like a glove and impressed her, as indeed it should, apart from the handlebars, which will probably be replaced by a bullhorn style similar to what I once had on my door's kingpin. So there it was. The die was cast. I serviced the bottom bracket and steering head, which were in remarkably good condition, and buttoned everything up. Let's now do a walk around to see at close quarters what the finished article looks like. Firstly, the chrome front forks with the Cinelli lugs at the crown, and also on the down tube is the World Championship 1990 decal, which dates the bike as either 1991 or 1992 when the team disbanded. The Shimano front brake, although the older single pivot design, has light action and works very well. Here is the Quando fixed free hub connected to the 17-tooth fixed side. The CXP21 rim decal can be seen below. On the opposite side is a nice view of the beautiful chrome stays and dropouts and the unlikely to be used free wheel. This shot shows the attention to detail with the brazed-on brake cable guides showing the cable entering at the front end and exiting at the rear of the top tube. I just love this stuff. At the bottom of the seat tube can be seen the Columbus TSX decal together with that of Ultec. Notice here the Italian tricolour brazed onto the top tube in front of the Bontrager's saddle. This was a feature of Church Concorde frames. Here is the 42-tooth chainwheel and crank, together with an unremarkable KTT pedal, which will shortly be changed to a Shimano PD324 double-sided pedal. This will be a match with the hub, with free on one side and SBD cleat on the other. Many people comment on how effortless it is to pedal fixed gear bikes. The reason is easy to see. Compared with a derailleur geared bike, with the chain routing changing direction around the pulleys, coupled with scrubbing from a far from perfect chain line, particularly in the extreme gears, the accurately lined up chain has far less friction. I also fiddled around with the position of the chain wheel relative to the rear sprocket in an attempt to maintain constant chain tension all the way around. Well, to conclude, we went out on a 25k shakedown ride with thankfully no shaking to report. At its conclusion, I took these clips to show how quickly Kate adapted to the new bike. It is quite rewarding to ride with someone else on a fixie, and I think that this pleasant ride will be the precursor to many more in the future.